The night was silent, but not the silence of peace. It was the silence after death. Burnt machines lay broken on the battlefield, their metal bodies still smoking. The air was heavy with the smell of fire, blood, and strange alien dust that glowed faintly under the moonlight. The human soldier walked slowly, his boots sinking into the black soil. He carried his rifle tight against his chest, his eyes sharp, scanning every shadow. His name was Captain Daniel Hayes. He had fought in many wars, but nothing like this one. Against the aliens, nothing felt safe. Even silence felt like a trap. Daniel's ears caught a faint sound. At first, he thought it was the wind. But the wind did not breathe, he froze. His finger rested on the trigger. The sound came again, soft, broken breathing. Someone was alive. He moved closer, his body tense, his heart beating fast. Behind a pile of ruined metal, he saw her. It was not a human woman. She was alien. Her skin was pale silver, glowing faintly as if moonlight lived inside her. Her long hair fell over her shoulders, shining with a strange blue tint. Her eyes were half open, glowing like two stars in the dark. She was bleeding, her body trembling with weakness. Daniel aimed his rifle at her. His training shouted in his mind, "Shoot, kill the enemy. Do not think." But his hands did not move. She looked at him. Not with hate, not with anger, but with fear. Her lips trembled as she spoke in a soft, broken voice. Her accent was strange, but her words were clear enough. "Don't leave me here." Daniel's chest tightened. He should have pulled the trigger. He should have ended it, but he did not. Her hand lifted weakly, shaking. She reached toward him, fingers long and delicate. "Please, let me stay. I will give you something no white woman ever could." Daniel stepped back, shocked. The words were strange, almost unreal. Why would an alien speak like that? Why would she beg to stay with him, a human soldier, her enemy? The silence returned, pressing heavy around them. The battlefield stretched endless, filled with broken machines, fallen soldiers, and shadows that could hide more enemies. But his eyes stayed locked on her. Something about her voice, her desperate look, broke through the walls inside him. She was not just an enemy. She was something else, something different. Daniel lowered his rifle just slightly. "Why?" he asked. His voice was low, harsh. "Why should I let you live?" Her glowing eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "Because my own people want me dead." The words struck him like a bullet. Her own people? Why would her own kind want to kill her? Daniel shook his head. "You're lying." But the weakness in her voice did not sound like a lie. She coughed, a faint silver liquid dripping from her lips. "Please, don't leave me. Take me with you." The wind picked up, moving through the broken metal around them. Daniel's mind raced. If his squad found out, he would be executed for treason. If he left her, she would die within minutes. If he took her, everything he knew about war, about loyalty, about survival, would change. He looked at her again. Her silver skin reflected the moonlight, fragile and strange, but also beautiful in a way he could not explain. She looked less like a soldier and more like someone lost, someone abandoned. Daniel's grip on his rifle tightened. He could end this now. One shot and all the confusion would disappear. One shot and he would be safe. But he did not fire. Instead, he heard his own voice whispering words he never thought he would say. "Get up." Slowly. Her eyes widened. For the first time, hope flickered in her glowing stare. She tried to move, but her body was too weak. She collapsed forward, her hand brushing against his boot. Daniel cursed under his breath. He lowered his rifle completely and bent down. His arms slid under her fragile body. She was lighter than he expected, almost weightless, as if carrying smoke. Yet the warmth of her skin against his chest felt real. Too real. He stood, holding her close. Around him, the battlefield seemed to grow darker, more dangerous. Every shadow looked like an enemy waiting to strike. Every step back toward his hidden bunker felt like walking deeper into a trap. The alien woman stirred weakly in his arms. Her voice was faint, but the words were sharp. "You will not regret this. I promise." Daniel did not answer. His jaw tightened. His mind screamed at him to turn back, to drop her, to end this madness. But his legs kept moving forward. The night swallowed them as he carried her away from the battlefield. And in that moment, Daniel Hayes, loyal soldier of Earth, had no idea that his choice would change everything. His life, his war, and even the future of both worlds. Daniel pushed open the steel door of his bunker with his shoulder. The hinges groaned, loud in the silence of the night. He stepped inside quickly, pulling the heavy door closed behind him. The dim yellow light of a single lamp flickered across the small room. The bunker was not built for comfort. It was built for survival. Concrete walls, old rations stacked in metal boxes, maps pinned to the table, and a bed that looked more like a prison cot. This was Daniel's home, his cage, his hiding place from the endless war outside. But tonight, something changed. In his arms, the alien woman stirred weakly. Her skin still glowed faint silver, the light pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. Daniel laid her carefully on the bed, his rifle never far from his hand. He stared at her, confused, angry, and strangely curious. Why had he brought her here? He should have left her. He should have ended it when he had the chance. Now she was here, in his secret place, his last safe corner of the world. The alien opened her eyes slowly. Her glowing stare searched the bunker, then returned to him. For a long moment they said nothing. Only the faint hum of the bunker's generator filled the air. "You saved me," she whispered. Daniel's jaw tightened. "Don't thank me. I don't even know why I did it." Her lips curved into the faintest smile, though her voice trembled. "Because you are human. And humans are not all machines of war." Daniel looked away. He hated the truth in her words. He had seen many humans who were machines of war, killing without thought, burning without care. But something about her voice cut through his armor. "Who are you?" he asked, his tone sharp. She hesitated, her hand pressing against the wound on her side. Her silver blood had slowed, but the glow around her seemed weaker. "My name, you cannot say it. But call me Sira." Daniel kept his rifle resting on the table, his eyes never leaving her. "Why did you say your own people want you dead?" Her face grew still, her glowing eyes dimming. "Because I am different, my kind. They fear what is different." "They fear me," Daniel frowned. "Fear you? Why?" "You look like one of them." Sira shook her head. "I carry something they do not. A gift, or maybe a curse. I can touch minds. I can feel what others hide. And they fear that power." The air in the bunker grew colder. Daniel's heart skipped a beat. He took a step back, his hand near his rifle. "You can read my mind?" Her eyes softened and she shook her head again. "Not unless you allow me. Not unless you open yourself. I am too weak now, but I promise I will not take from you." Daniel studied her. Her voice was calm, but there was weight in it, an honesty he could not explain. Still his instinct screamed, "She is dangerous. She is not human. Do not trust her." But another voice whispered in the back of his mind. "She begged for life." "She trusted you, why?" Hours passed in uneasy silence. Daniel sat at the table, pretending to study maps, though his eyes often slid toward the bed. Sira lay still, breathing shallow, but every so often, her silver glow brightened for a moment as if her body was healing itself. He wondered how long he could keep her hidden. If the patrols searched the area and found her, he would be executed on the spot. But leaving her outside had not been an option. Not after the way she had looked at him, not after the words she had whispered. At one point, her voice broke the silence. "You are alone here." Daniel's head lifted sharply. "What do you mean?" She smiled weakly. "Your eyes carry loneliness. Your heart does too." He clenched his fists. "Stay out of my heart." Her smile faded, but her voice was gentle. "I don't need to touch your mind to see it. It is written on your face." Daniel felt heat rise in his chest. Anger, shame, or something else, he could not tell. He turned away, but the words stayed with him. She had seen through him too easily. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed outside the bunker. The sound of boots, voices, soldiers. Daniel's blood ran cold. He rushed to the small slit window and peered out. A patrol was moving through the ruins, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. He turned back to her, his voice low and sharp. "Stay quiet. Don't move. If they hear you, we're both dead." Sira's glowing eyes widened, but she nodded. Her silver skin dimmed as if she willed herself to vanish into shadow. Daniel grabbed his rifle and stood ready, his heart pounding. The voices outside grew louder. For a moment, one of the soldiers paused right near the bunker door. Daniel held his breath. Then the patrol moved on, their lights fading into the night. Silence returned. Daniel exhaled slowly, sweat dripping from his brow. He turned back to Sira. She was watching him, her eyes filled with something he could not name. "You risked your life for me again," she whispered. Daniel wiped his forehead, his voice hard. "Don't mistake this for kindness. I should still kill you." But even as he said the words, his rifle stayed on the table, untouched. And deep down he knew the truth. He could not do it. In that small bunker in the heart of a war-torn land, two enemies sat in fragile silence. A human soldier and an alien woman, both hunted, both alone, both bound by a choice Daniel did not yet understand, and though he tried to fight it, a question burned inside him. Had he just made the biggest mistake of his life? Or the only choice that could save it? The bunker was quiet but not peaceful. The silence between Daniel and the alien woman felt heavy, like a secret neither of them wanted to touch. The war outside raged on, yet inside these concrete walls another battle had begun, one inside Daniel's mind. He watched her from the table, his fingers tapping against the cold steel. She lay on the cot, her breathing steady, her silver glow softer now. She seemed almost human in her rest, like a woman exhausted after a long journey. But Daniel never forgot. She was not human. Days passed. He fed her rations, though she often pushed them away. Instead, she pulled out small seeds from a pouch tied at her side. She placed them in water, and within minutes they grew into strange glowing fruit. When she ate, her wounds seemed to heal faster. Daniel stared at the glowing fruit, tempted but suspicious. One night, when hunger gnawed at him, she offered one. "Try," she whispered. Daniel narrowed his eyes. "What is it?" "A gift from my world," she said softly. "It will not harm you. It will give you strength." He hesitated. Trusting her could be suicide. But something about her gaze, steady, calm, waiting, pushed him. Slowly he bit into the fruit. The taste was unlike anything he knew. Sweet, smooth, almost like honey melting into fire. For a moment he felt warmth spread through his chest. His exhaustion fading. His mind cleared, his body lighter. Sira smiled faintly. "Now you carry a piece of my world inside you." Daniel set the half-eaten fruit down, uneasy. A piece of her world inside him. That thought was more terrifying than the battlefield. At night, when he tried to sleep, he heard her whisper in the dark. Not with words, but with feelings. He would dream of stars, of oceans of light, of voices that were not his own. When he woke, his body was cold with sweat. One morning, he confronted her. "What are you doing to me?" His voice was sharp, filled with anger and fear. Sira sat up slowly, her silver eyes calm. "I am not doing. You are hearing. You opened yourself when you ate the fruit. Now you feel me." Daniel's fists clenched. "Stay out of my head." Her voice softened, almost sad. "I cannot stay out, not fully." Our worlds touched. That cannot be undone. The words chilled him. His world, his mind, had always been his own. Now it was no longer safe. One evening, while Daniel sharpened his knife, Sira sat quietly on the cot. She looked at him for a long time before speaking. "Do you know why my people fear me?" she asked. Daniel did not look up. "You told me. You can touch minds." She nodded. "Yes, but it is more than that. When two minds meet, they are never the same again. Pieces stay, memories, feelings. They pass between us. That is why they fear me. They fear losing themselves." Daniel's knife slipped in his hand, almost cutting his skin. His breath grew heavy. "So, you're saying I'm already changed?" Her eyes lowered. "A little, but only if you let it grow. I will not take more unless you ask." Daniel's chest tightened. The thought of being changed, of not being fully human anymore, tore at him. Yet part of him wanted to know more, to see what she saw. That night, the choice came, she whispered, her voice soft as falling rain. "Let me show you, only for a moment. I will not take, I will give. You will see what I see. You will feel what I feel." Daniel stared at her. His instinct screamed to refuse, but deep inside curiosity burned. He wanted to know what lay beyond the stars, what lived inside this alien woman who begged to stay. Slowly, he nodded. Sira reached out her hand. Her fingers were long, delicate, glowing faintly. Daniel hesitated, then placed his hand in hers. The world shattered. In an instant, Daniel was no longer in the bunker. He stood under a sky of two suns. Strange towers of glass rose above oceans of silver waves. Voices echoed in his mind, not speaking but singing. He saw memories. Sira as a child running across fields of glowing flowers. Sira standing before her people, their eyes filled with fear, not love. Sira being hunted, chased, forced to flee. The images hit him like fire. His chest ached with emotions that were not his. Fear, hope, loneliness. Then he felt her heart. It beat against his, not in his chest, but in his mind. She was not lying. She was not tricking him. She was alone, and she wanted him to understand. Daniel gasped and pulled his hand away. The world snapped back to the bunker. His body trembled, his breath sharp. Sweat dripped down his face. Sierra looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. "Now you know," she whispered. Daniel backed away, his rifle in hand again, though he did not raise it. His voice shook. "Stay out of me." "Don't ever do that again." Her face fell, but she nodded. "I only wanted you to see. To understand why I begged to stay." Daniel turned away, his heart racing. He should throw her out, leave her to die. But now, a part of him carried her memories, her feelings. He could not erase them. The forbidden bond had been made. And no matter how hard he tried, Daniel knew it would only grow stronger. The bunker felt smaller now. The walls pressed closer as if they knew a secret lived inside. Daniel could not rest. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her world. 2 suns, glowing fields, her people's fearful faces. Her memories lived in him now, and he hated it. Sierra sat quietly on the cot, her silver glow dim. She did not speak much after the bond they had shared. Her eyes often lingered on him, soft, almost sorry. Daniel avoided her gaze. He tried to focus on cleaning his rifle, on maps, on the war. But the truth was clear. His war had already changed. One evening, as rain hammered the bunker roof, Sierra whispered, "You are afraid." Daniel slammed the rifle onto the table. "Stop reading me." Her voice was steady. "I am not reading. You wear fear like a cloak. It is loud." Daniel's chest tightened. He hated how she could cut through him with words. He hated that she knew. "What do you want from me?" he asked sharply. Sierra lowered her eyes. "I want you to understand what I am." "What I can give," Daniel frowned. "You already gave me nightmares." She smiled faintly. "Not nightmares. A gift, but I held back. I showed you only a glimpse. If you choose, I can show more. Not just memories, but power." Daniel stiffened. "Power?" He laughed bitterly. "I don't need alien tricks." Sierra's voice grew stronger. "You fight a war you cannot win. Your weapons kill bodies, but not the future. My gift is not a weapon, it is more." She raised her hand, glowing faintly. The air shimmered. The lamp flickered. For a second, Daniel swore he heard voices whispering in the dark corners of the room. Not words, just feelings, heavy and real. Daniel reached for his rifle, his pulse racing. "Stop that." The glow faded. Sierra's hand dropped. "This is what they fear. This is why they hunted me. I can touch not just minds, but the space between them. I can bend it. I can make enemies doubt, turn friends to allies. With me you could move unseen, hear what others plan, strike before they act." Her eyes glowed brighter. "With me you would never lose." The words hung in the air. Daniel's throat went dry. That night Daniel could not sleep. He sat awake staring at the dim lamp. The idea burned in his mind. A power to know the enemy's thoughts? To twist the war before it began? It was madness, dangerous, but it was also tempting. Sierra stirred, her soft voice breaking the silence. "You don't trust me, but you wonder." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Stay out of my head." Her gaze was calm. "I don't need to enter. I can feel the storm on your face. You want to know if I speak truth?" He clenched his fists. "If I let you show me..." "What happens?" Sierra leaned forward, her glow brightening faintly. "I will share a part of my core with you. Not just memory, energy. Your senses will sharpen. You will see the world as I do. But only for a moment." Daniel's stomach twisted. It sounded like poison. It sounded like salvation. He shook his head. "If I do this, I lose myself." Sierra whispered, "No. You find more of yourself. Humans live blind. I would give you new eyes." The next day, the choice came without warning. Daniel left the bunker to scout nearby ruins. Sierra was too weak to follow. He promised to return quickly. But outside, danger waited. 2 enemy soldiers patrolled the area, their alien armor glinting under the weak sun. Daniel ducked behind rubble, his heart racing. If they spotted him, he would not escape. Suddenly, he felt a tug inside his mind, a soft glowing thread. Sierra's voice, faint but clear, echoed in his head. "Let me guide you. Open yourself and you will not be seen." Daniel froze. Her voice was not in his ears, it was inside him. He gritted his teeth, shaking his head. "No," he whispered. "Stay out." But the patrol drew closer. Their strange weapons hummed. Daniel's breath caught. One wrong step and it was over. The thread pulled again, gentle but urgent. "Trust me. Just this once." Daniel closed his eyes, sweat dripping from his brow. Against his own judgment, he let the bond open. The world changed. The ruins around him shimmered with light. Every soldier glowed with a faint aura, pulsing with thought. He did not hear words, but he felt their emotions: boredom, impatience, distraction. They were not looking for him. Not yet. Daniel moved silently, his steps guided by instinct that was not fully his own. He slipped past them like a shadow, his breath calm, his body sharp. For the first time, he saw through Sira's eyes. The battlefield was no longer chaos. It was a map of minds, glowing with weakness and fear. When the soldiers left, Daniel ducked into cover, his chest heaving. The glow faded. The world snapped back to normal. His head pounded with pain, but he was alive. Back in the bunker, he slammed the door shut. Sira looked up, her eyes searching his. Daniel dropped his rifle on the table. His voice shook. "What did you do to me?" Sira whispered. "I showed you the truth. Without me, you would be dead." Daniel pressed his hands to his face. He wanted to scream. He wanted to strike her down. But deep inside, he knew she was right. He had seen her secret power, and now he could never unsee it. The bunker was darker than usual. The small lamp flickered weakly, shadows dancing along the walls. Daniel sat at the table, his head in his hands. His body still remembered the strange energy from the ruins, the way the world had lit up, the way he had moved unseen. It was not natural. It was not human. Across the room, Sira watched him quietly. Her silver glow had returned stronger now, soft but steady, like moonlight that never faded. She said nothing for a long time. She simply studied him, as though waiting for his storm to calm. Finally, Daniel lifted his head. His eyes were tired, his jaw tight. "What did you do to me out there?" Sira's voice was calm, smooth. "I did not change you. I only opened a door. You chose to step through." Daniel clenched his fists. "Don't twist this. You put me in danger. You got inside my head." Her eyes softened. "And because of that, you lived. Without me, you would be gone. You know this." He hated her words because they were true. He should have died in those ruins. Instead, he had moved like shadow, unseen, untouchable. He had felt powerful. That thought scared him more than death itself. Later that night, when the rain fell hard on the bunker roof, Sira spoke again. Her voice was softer now, almost pleading. "Daniel, let me stay with you. Do not send me away. I can give you more than survival. I can give you more than war." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "What are you offering?" She stepped closer, her glow warming the cold room. "Your people fight to live, but you live only to fight. I can change that. I can give you knowledge of my kind, power beyond your weapons, and a bond stronger than blood." Daniel shook his head. "I don't need your bond." Sira tilted her head. Her eyes locked onto his. "Then why did you carry me from death? Why hide me here? Why trust my touch even for a moment?" Daniel looked away. He had no answer. She continued, her voice sharper now but not cruel. "You are lonely. You carry ghosts in your heart. No human woman can take them away. But I can reach deeper. I can give you what no white woman ever could. Connection beyond flesh, love that joins soul to soul." Her words cut deep. Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to shout at her, to deny everything. But he could not. She had seen inside him. She knew. The bunker grew silent. Only the storm outside filled the air. Daniel spoke finally, his voice low, almost broken. "If I let you stay, if I take what you offer, what happens to me?" Sira's silver eyes glowed brighter. "You become more. Your life will stretch beyond years. Your body will heal faster. You will carry strength that no human soldier has ever known." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "And you will never be alone again." Daniel felt his throat tighten. The promise was sweet, dangerous, and heavy. It was everything he wanted, everything he feared. "Why me?" he asked. His voice cracked with anger. "Why not another soldier? Why not one of your own?" Her gaze darkened. "Because my own would chain me. They fear me. They want me dead. You are the only one who looked at me and did not kill me. You are the only one who chose." She stepped closer, her glow brushing against his skin like warmth. "You saved me, Daniel Hayes, and because of that I am yours." Daniel's heart pounded. He could smell the faint sweetness of her alien skin, hear the calm rhythm of her breathing. He wanted to push her away to end this madness. But his body did not move. "You're trying to turn me," he whispered. Sira shook her head. No, I am asking. Choose me or send me to death. That is your power. The words echoed in his mind. Choose me or send me to death. Daniel stood quickly, stepping back. His chair crashed against the wall. I don't know if I can trust you. For all I know, you're setting me up. Maybe this is a trick. Maybe you're leading me to slaughter. Sierra's expression did not change. If that were true, you would already be dead. Her calmness cut deeper than any lie. The storm outside grew louder, thunder shaking the bunker. Daniel walked to the small slit window, staring at the black sky. His reflection stared back at him, hard eyes, tired face, a man already half broken by war. Behind him, her voice came again, soft and steady. Let me stay, Daniel. Let me give you what no other woman can. Let me give you a bond that no weapon can break. He closed his eyes. His heart felt like a battlefield. Duty against desire, fear against need. He turned slowly to face her. Her glow filled the bunker now, chasing the shadows. She stood tall despite her wounds, her eyes locked on him with hope, with promise. And in that moment, Daniel Hayes knew the war outside was no longer his greatest fight. The true war had already begun, inside his heart. The days that followed were heavier than the rain outside. Daniel kept Sierra hidden in the bunker, but every sound from beyond the steel door felt sharper, more dangerous. He knew eyes were watching him. He felt the weight of suspicion pressing closer each day. The camp was restless. Soldiers whispered in the dark. Supplies were running low. Patrols returned with fewer men than they left. Everyone searched for a reason to blame someone. And Daniel feared they had found it, him. One evening, Daniel returned from patrol with his friend Corporal Riker. They had fought side by side for years through dust and fire, but tonight Riker's eyes carried something Daniel had never seen before: doubt. You've been strange lately, Riker said, his voice low as they walked through the ruins, slipping away at night. Coming back looking different. Daniel kept his face hard. I scout. Same as always, Riker frowned. Scouting doesn't put a glow in a man's eyes. Daniel froze for a moment, then forced a dry laugh. You've been drinking the wrong water, Riker. But inside his chest burned with fear. Did Riker know? Did he see the faint shine Sierra's bond had left in his gaze? They reached the camp. Soldiers stared at Daniel longer than usual. Conversation stopped when he passed. He felt their eyes burning into his back. Something was wrong. That night in the bunker, Daniel paced the room. Sierra watched him, her silver glow soft in the shadows. They're suspicious, he muttered. They're watching me, maybe even following me. Sierra tilted her head, calm as always. Because they feel the change. You carry me inside you now. They can sense it even if they don't know. Daniel stopped, his fists clenching. Then you've doomed me. Her voice sharpened. No, Daniel. You doomed yourself the moment you chose me. The words cut, but they were true. He had carried her from the battlefield, hidden her, tasted her fruit, touched her mind. There was no turning back. The next day, the commander ordered a full inspection. Bunkers, weapons, supplies, everything was searched. Daniel's stomach dropped when he heard the news. When he returned to his bunker, Sierra stood ready. Her silver eyes met his. They are coming, she whispered. Daniel grabbed his rifle and cursed under his breath. If they find you here, I'm finished. We're both finished. Sierra stepped closer. Her voice was steady, unshaken. Then let me help you. I can cloud their minds, make them blind to me. Daniel shook his head. No, if you touch them, they'll know something's wrong. They'll feel it, and then they'll kill us faster. Her gaze softened. Then you must choose, hide me or betray me. Boots pounded outside. Voices shouted. Daniel's pulse thundered in his ears. He pulled Sierra toward the hidden crawl space beneath the cot, a small chamber meant for emergency supplies. He opened the hatch, the metal groaning. Get in, he ordered. Sierra looked at him, her glow dimming. If they find me, will you kill me to save yourself? Daniel's jaw tightened. Don't make me answer that. For a moment, silence hung between them. Then she lowered herself into the space. The hatch closed. Her glow vanished. The bunker door burst open. 3 soldiers entered, Riker among them. Their flashlights cut through the dark, sweeping over every wall, every corner. Inspection, Riker said coldly. Daniel stood tall, rifle across his chest. This is my bunker. Nothing here but dust and maps. The soldiers spread out, searching. They opened boxes, kicked through supplies, checked under the table. Every second stretched like an hour. One soldier's hand brushed the cot. Daniel's heart stopped. But the man moved on. Finally, Riker stepped closer. His eyes locked on Daniel's. Strange, isn't it? How you always come back alive when others don't. How you've changed. Some say you carry something unnatural. Daniel's grip on his rifle tightened. You calling me a traitor? Riker's lips curled into a thin smile. I'm saying, if I find out you're hiding something, I'll be the one to pull the trigger. The soldiers left. The door slammed shut. Daniel exhaled, sweat dripping down his back. He lifted the hatch. Sierra climbed out, her glow faint but steady. They don't trust you, she said softly. Daniel's voice cracked with anger. And it's your fault. But deep down he knew the truth. The fault was his. He had chosen this path. He had betrayed his own people long before they suspected him. That night, while Daniel tried to rest, Sierra whispered in the dark, They will come again, and next time they will not leave without blood. Daniel opened his eyes. Who betrayed me? Was it Riker? Sierra's gaze glowed faintly. It could be him. Or another. But betrayal always begins close. Someone you trust. The thought stabbed him like a knife. Riker, his brother-in-arms, could already be sharpening the blade meant for his back. Daniel closed his eyes, but sleep never came. He knew the net was tightening. The soldiers suspected. The walls were closing in, and in the shadows of the bunker, Sierra's soft glow whispered the truth he did not want to face. The greatest danger was not outside, it was inside. The night was heavy with smoke. The camp outside the ruins was burning. Sirens wailed, soldiers shouted, and the air carried the sharp smell of fire and blood. Daniel stood at the slit window of his bunker, his rifle gripped tight, his breath shallow. They had come. The soldiers were not searching anymore. They were attacking. Someone had spoken. Someone had betrayed him. Behind him, Sierra stood in the dim light. Her silver glow pulsed like a heartbeat, brighter than ever before. She was stronger now. No longer the dying woman he had carried from the battlefield. Yet her eyes carried fear, the kind that came not from death but from choice. They know, she whispered. They come for you, for me. Tonight one of us dies. Daniel turned, his jaw tight. No, we fight. We escape. But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The bunker was surrounded. The soldiers would break through the steel door soon. He could not fight them all. Not with bullets. Not with rage. Sierra stepped closer, her voice sharp but soft like a blade wrapped in silk. There is still a way. Let me bind with you fully. Let me join you. With me inside, you will move faster, think sharper. Together we could cut through them. Survive. Daniel's chest tightened. He remembered the taste of her fruit, the visions of her world, the power she had given him in the ruins. That was only a glimpse. What she offered now was something deeper, something final. If I let you in, he said slowly, I won't be me anymore. Sierra's silver eyes glowed brighter. No, you will be more. You will carry both of us. You will never be alone. The bunker door shook violently. A deep boom echoed, dust falling from the ceiling. They were trying to break it down. Voices shouted outside, Open up, Hayes. We know you're in there. Daniel's pulse hammered. He imagined Riker's face among them, cold and ready to pull the trigger. His oldest friend, now his hunter. Another boom. The door cracked. Daniel raised his rifle, pointing it at the door. But his hand shook. He was one man against many. He could kill a few, but not all. And when he fell, Sierra would fall too. Behind him, her voice cut through the chaos. Daniel, choose now. He turned, his eyes locking onto hers. She stood glowing in the shadows, her hands open, her body trembling with urgency. She was not begging this time. She was demanding. Take me in, she said. Or kill me. End it before they do. The words slammed into him. He aimed his rifle at her. His hands shook harder now. Sweat dripped into his eyes. If he killed her, the soldiers would believe him. They would see her corpse glowing and broken, and maybe, just maybe, he would walk free. His life would return to orders and uniforms, to the war he knew. If he spared her, if he let her inside him, everything would change. He would no longer be only Daniel Hayes, soldier of Earth. He would be something else. Something his people would never forgive. Another boom. The steel door bent inward, metal screaming. Sierra stepped closer, her eyes locked on his, glowing bright with both fear and hope. Let me stay. I will give you what no other woman ever could. Let me save you. Daniel's heart pounded like war drums. He saw her trembling hands, her glowing skin, her desperate eyes. He saw the memories she had shown him, the loneliness, the fear, the endless exile. He saw himself too, alone, broken, dying in a war that had no end. The door burst. Soldiers poured into the bunker, rifles raised, voices shouting. "Drop the weapon, Hayes. Step away from her." Daniel froze. His rifle still pointed at Sierra. Sweat burned his eyes. His breath came sharp, ragged. The soldiers advanced. He heard Riker's voice, cold and final. "Do it, Daniel. Kill the alien. Prove you're still one of us." Sierra whispered behind him, her voice trembling but strong. "Choose me, Daniel. Choose life." The world seemed to stop. Daniel stood between two fires, his brothers with rifles at his back and the alien woman glowing before him. His finger pressed against the trigger. He had only one choice. The screen of his mind cut to black. The last thing Daniel heard was his own heartbeat, loud, final, uncertain, and the story ended not with peace, but with a cliffhanger. No one knew if he fired at her, or turned his weapon on the soldiers. But one truth burned in the silence. Daniel Hayes, soldier of Earth, had crossed a line from which there was no return.